Hi, my loves, welcome to my channel. My name is Kristen, and here we explore an experiential approach to manifestation and spiritual awakening. So, in today's video, I am going to address a question that I get asked quite a lot, and it's about time, of course. I have said many times what I think manifestation is not, and so this video is going to define what I think manifestation is and how this teaching differs from some of the mainstream teachings in manifestation culture. Now, just as a disclaimer, I just want to say that everything I'm about to say after this is my understanding of how manifestation works, and this message or this channel is for the people that resonate with it. So, what does manifestation actually mean? Because when we hear this word, we often immediately associate it with desire or with getting the things that we want. We think of it as some kind of process or set of techniques that we can do in order to manifest a particular outcome. But in the truest sense, the word manifestation is not really about acquiring things. It's simply a word that describes the way consciousness or divinity expresses itself through form. The whole of the physical world, everyone you meet and everything you encounter, is a manifestation. Your thoughts, emotions, sensations are all manifestations. Every movement of life that arises within the stillness of pure awareness is a manifestation. Manifestation is divine expression. It's the dance of the infinite celebrating itself in the temporary forms of experience. It's not a transactional process, nor is it a mechanical law or cause and effect that is harnessed by the separate self. It's the spontaneous, impersonal unfolding of being beyond any individual authorship or control. All manifestations are impermanent. They appear and disappear, transform and dissolve. No manifestation lasts forever because all form arises and passes within the timeless field of awareness. Every manifestation offers a mirror, not because you are personally causing reality with your thoughts, but because your perception and response to what appears reveals something about who you believe yourself to be. This natural feedback mechanism allows you, through inquiry, to be invited into the realization of who you truly are. Remember, the mirror does not show you who you are, it shows you who you are not, so that you can understand who you are. When you understand manifestation this way, it stops becoming a tool for acquisition and becomes a profound invitation into remembering who you are, the unchanging awareness in which all of life's expressions arise, dance, and dissolve. This does not mean that you cannot have the life that you want or that you have to give up all of your desires. What it actually means is that as you recognize yourself as awareness, the quality of experience often transforms. Life begins to reflect a deeper harmony and natural sense of fulfillment, not because you are forcing reality to conform to your preferences, but because the contractions that obscured your inherent wholeness have now relaxed. In this openness, manifestations arise that feel aligned with your highest happiness. Yet these unfoldments come not through effort or control, but through allowing life to reveal itself in its own way, free from the urgency of needing anything to complete you. The most fundamental difference between the dominant teachings in manifestation culture and what I am teaching here is how causation and reflection are understood. In many manifestation teachings, it is taught that your thoughts, assumptions, or belief, or your vibration or your frequency are causing your experiences in a direct personal way. Even when words like reflection or mirror are used, the underlying idea often remains that you caused what is happening in the mirror. In this teaching, reflection does not mean you caused the event or the circumstance. All experience arises spontaneously within awareness itself, without a separate self causing it. The mirror of experience simply shows you what you are identified with because your reaction reveals what you believe yourself to be. When the reaction is recognized, it offers an opportunity to dissolve that identification, not by trying to fix or heal or change experience itself, but by seeing clearly that it is not who you are. In this simple recognition, the contraction in awareness begins to release, and consciousness naturally expresses itself in ways without effort or control. And as I said before, these expressions are often more in alignment with your true nature, even if they do not always look like what the mind originally expected. Another significant difference between these approaches is the role and importance of thought. Most manifestation approaches place primary emphasis on thought, the idea that sustained beliefs, thoughts, or assumptions are the cause of manifested reality. In this teaching, thoughts are not regarded as the creative cause of experience, nor do they have any real power at all. Thoughts are simply movements arising within consciousness, neither problems to eliminate or forces to use to control specific outcomes. Who we truly are as awareness is prior to thought and is therefore untouched by it. And so this teaching says that fulfillment comes from recognizing yourself as awareness rather than from managing and perfecting your thoughts. Another important difference is how the sense of personal doership and what it means to be God or awareness is understood. Many manifestation teachings describe you as God or awareness and say there is no real separation. However, in practice, this often feels like being an individual who must direct and sustain reality through personal focus and intention. In this teaching, being awareness or being God is not about becoming a more powerful person who controls everything or being a cosmic puppet master. It means recognizing that the sense of being a separate someone who manifests or makes life happen is itself an illusion within awareness. The manifestation journey, the journey of desire, is an illusion within awareness. From a non-dual perspective, there is no separate doer, only the spontaneous unfolding of all experience in the field of awareness. Another area where these perspectives differ is in how desire itself is understood and approached. Many manifestation teachings present desire as something you shouldn't question, that all desire is given by God or the higher self, and so therefore it's automatically aligned with your deepest truth. In this teaching, desire is also seen as arising within consciousness, but it is recognized that not every desire is necessarily an expression of our inherent wholeness. A desire can emerge from freedom and creativity, but it can also come from conditioning. It can also come from fear or a sense of being incomplete and needing something to complete you. From a non-dual perspective, desire is an invitation to inquiry rather than something to automatically pursue. Sometimes the purpose of a desire is not to be fulfilled, but to show you something within yourself, whether that's an old pattern or a limitation or an assumption about what you need in order to be complete. When the purpose has been achieved, the desire for that particular thing often dissolves or may transform into something else, often leading you into a different manifestation than what you previously expected. This is not a mistake. It's actually all part of the divine unfolding and it is perfect. Another key difference is how self-concept is related to manifestation. Many manifestation teachings are based on the belief that you need to fix, change, develop, or heal your self-concept in order to receive what you desire. In this teaching, there is no assumption that you need to improve yourself to be deserving of what arises. The sense of being an incomplete self who must somehow achieve wholeness in order to get the desire is an illusion in consciousness. Rather than striving to become someone better, the invitation is to recognize the completeness of awareness here and now, the wholeness that does not depend on anything changing. Fulfillment is not the result of perfecting the self, but of seeing through the idea that the self is lacking in any way. Another important distinction is the relationship to the present moment and how current circumstances are perceived. In many manifestation teachings, the present moment is often viewed as something to move beyond or upgrade. It's seen as an outdated version that you need to ignore in order to experience the reality that you want. In this teaching, the present moment is not regarded as an obstacle or a problem to overcome, ignore, or alter in any way. And rather than postponing our fulfillment to the future, the invitation is to discover the completeness of being here and now, no matter the circumstance. This recognition allows life to unfold naturally without the constant effort to improve or escape what is. Another distinction is how personal relationships are understood. In many manifestation teachings, relationships are often approached as if they are extensions of your thoughts. In this teaching, relationships are seen as mirrors. They reveal where you are still identified with separation or the idea that another person is the source of fulfillment. From a non-dual perspective, other beings are not objects to be managed or reshaped, but expressions of the same awareness that you are. From this angle, relationships become an opportunity to experience the wholeness that is already here rather than as a strategy to complete yourself through someone else. Another important distinction is how the nature of other people is understood. In many manifestation teachings, it is often taught that everyone you encounter is a projection of your mind or your assumptions or your belief. This perspective suggests that other people do not have independent agency or experiences of their own, but are simply extensions of your mind, reflecting back to you what you have impressed upon your subconscious. In some interpretations, this also means that others do not fully exist in their own right and can be regarded as figments of your imagination or as characters within your personal reality. It is also sometimes said that there is no free will, but in a way that implies others have no autonomy and are simply just responding to your thoughts about them. In this teaching, the recognition of oneness does not mean that others are merely extensions of your mind. From a non-dual perspective, there is no separate self anywhere, not in you and not in anyone else. All beings appear within the same field of awareness as unique expressions of consciousness, not as characters belonging to one person's mind. Relationships in this way are not an exercise in managing or rewriting other people to match your preference, but an opportunity to meet them in freedom and openness and unconditional love without trying to possess or reshape them. The invitation is to see that true oneness honors both the inseparability of life and the way in which it expresses at this moment. Another difference is the emphasis placed on personal will. Many manifestation approaches teach that you must use your personal will and persist in that to bring about the outcomes that you desire, giving the sense that it is your individual will that is the central force causing reality. In this teaching, manifestation is not seen as the result of a personal striving. From a non-dual perspective, all experience unfolds as an impersonal movement within consciousness itself. There is no separate self who stands apart from life and is causing it with their personal will. Another distinction is how action and effort are perceived. Many manifestation teachings suggest that achieving your desires or getting your desires depends on doing something specific to bring them into form, like visualizing or saying affirmations. In this teaching, manifestation does not arise from effort or technique, and there is ultimately nothing you need to do or can do in order to become more of what you already are. So rather than striving to create an outcome, the invitation is to rest in the recognition that being itself is already complete. When this is understood, action may still arise, but it's no longer driven by the belief that you must secure your wholeness through doing. Another difference is how the changing or dissolving of desire is understood. In many manifestation teachings, there is a strong emphasis on holding a specific result in focus. The idea that you must maintain your desire consistently and persist until the exact outcome is reached. Other possibilities or directions are usually seen as distractions or a sign that you weren't persisting. In this teaching, desire is recognized as inherently fluid. From a non-dual perspective, desires arise and subside within awareness like any other experience. When a desire softens and dissolves, it's not regarded as a failure. This was exactly what was meant to happen. It can reflect that what the desire pointed to has already been achieved or already been integrated, and now life is moving in different, perhaps more aligned ways. Rather than measuring success by whether a certain outcome arrives exactly as imagined, the invitation is to remain open to how life unfolds, trusting that being expresses itself in ways that the mind cannot always predict. Another difference is how change within relationships is understood. In many manifestation teachings, it's often suggested that if you shift your assumptions, other people's behavior will reliably change to reflect your new state. This perspective can lead to staying in relationships that are unhealthy or unfulfilling based on the idea that you should persist until the external change occurs. In this teaching, while change can and does happen in relationships, it's not guaranteed nor is it required. From a non-dual perspective, other people are not extensions of your personal will. They are expressions of the same awareness. The invitation is to honor your own clarity and self-respect, and that sometimes love and integrity and growth on the spiritual path means stepping away rather than continuing to wait for someone to show up differently. Another distinction is how love itself is approached. Many manifestation teachings describe love as something that already exists within you, but in practice, much of the focus is on trying to change or select a desired version of another person, which is not unconditional love at all. In this teaching, love is not regarded as an experience that depends on circumstances or someone else's behavior. From a non-dual perspective, love is the very nature of awareness itself, the open field in which all experience arises. The longing for love is ultimately the longing to recognize oneself as oneness, rather than to acquire or reshape another person. Rather than treating love as something to obtain or hold in place, the invitation is to discover that the fullness of being is always here. And lastly, there is a difference in what the journey of manifestation is ultimately for, or what the goal of the manifestation journey is perceived to be. In many manifestation teachings, the goal is to manifest outcomes and to manifest the experiences that you believe will make you fulfilled. In this teaching, the journey of desire or the manifestation journey is understood differently. Desire is recognized as a temporary appearance in consciousness, an unfolding that can point back to the deeper recognition of awareness itself. From a non-dual perspective, the purpose is not simply to satisfy desires, but to awaken to the realization that you are awareness itself, and that you are already whole and complete, and that you are inseparable from all that is because you are all that is. And when this recognition deepens, when we go deeper into the realization of our true nature, it naturally changes how we relate to desire and it changes how we view the manifestation process. Desires will still arise, but they're more likely to emerge from an expression of wholeness rather than the ego that is lacking. Desires tend to manifest with ease without striving or effort to secure them, because fulfillment is not dependent on a specific expression of the outcome. You are free to welcome whatever unfolds, knowing that you do not need to do anything to be complete. So, in short, in this teaching, manifestation is not seen as a process of controlling reality through personal effort or sustaining a perfect mental state. Instead, it is the natural unfolding of life when we recognize ourselves as awareness. It is the divine dance. When the identification with the separate self begins to dissolve, desires are no longer strategies to fill a sense of lack, but expressions of the fullness and wholeness that is already here. The life that you deeply long for, the one that feels true and authentically aligned with you, does not need to be forced into being because it is already done. It emerges organically as you rest in what you are. So rather than striving to make every detail conform to an image of completeness, you discover that everything you truly need unfolds without struggle when you no longer believe you are separate from it. Hope that helps.